Hi, everybody. Welcome back to RVAsec 2023, Richmond, Virginia. My next guest, what's your name, sir?
Brad Odell with Axonius.
And spell that for us, just in case.
AXONIUS.
.com.
.com.
Excellent. What do you guys do?
We are a cybersecurity asset management company.
Asset management. Now, define that for me.
Well, it's not a sexy challenge, but it's a challenge that organizations of all types and sizes have. So something as simple as how many Windows assets do you have in your environment?
Yes.
It's not a question that's easy to answer.
No. Does it start with endpoints? Is that kind of a place to start?
So an asset to us is not just a device or an endpoint. It
Okay.
could be anything with an IP.
All right.
But we have the ability not just pivot around device information, we can also look at user information, vulnerabilities, software management, SaaS applications as well.
Is this a unique concept? I haven't heard this approach before.
So the way we are doing it is unique.
Okay.
There are a number of organizations that are trying to solve the asset management challenge. Right. Some are building their own homegrown solutions. Others are looking to things like CMDB as their source of truth. But what we do and what we provide is an aggregation and correlation platform that ties into over 700 different technologies. And that's a huge challenge that organizations face because over the last 10 or 20 years, we've got a lot of cool technologies that have come around, but what the challenge is that all of those tools represent siloed information.
Yes.
So what we do is we bring all of those different data silos and their information into an aggregated platform. We provide correlation, data normalization, and put business context around it so that you can be assured of what's really in your environment. And when you're confident in what you have, then it's easier to protect.
Right.
So we'll help you identify gaps in your environment. And when those gaps are identified, we can help you close those gaps by looking to ensure that your security policies are properly enforced, whether that's having you do additional due diligence or we automate the workflows to close those gaps.
So I never thought about the problem of being siloed because I'm not going to put an app on my network unless it's contained and secure in itself. I mean, people use sandboxes and things, I get it. But that's the complexity, isn't it?
It is a complexity.
Yeah.
And when you're talking about applications specifically, nowadays it's about SaaS applications. So there's thousands and thousands of app providers, and depending on the analyst that you talk with, 90 to 95% of those applications are unsanctioned or shadow IT.
Really? 95%?
It's a big number.
You're giving me a stomachache. But at the end, I'm going to not have a stomachache because you're going to give me a solution.
Right.
Now, what's the difference between asset management for IT and asset management for security? I get this on my side, coming from physical security back in the day. We went around Fox Studios one day, every single room, put it in a spreadsheet, there's a printer, there's a computer, because we had earthquakes, right? Or riots back in the day.
Right.
And it's business recovery. It's business continuity. Do you view this as a business continuity issue as well?
We actually do, and that conversation's picking up a lot more recently, and we're starting to generate some reports that focus on BCDR.
So what are the distinctions between the asset management for IT and the management? There's a distinction there.
Yeah.
Right?
IT is a little bit more all-encompassing, clearly.
Okay.
But what we find is that from a source of truth within an organization, historically that resides within IT and the CMDB.
As a management issue. Oh, yes. That's right.
The challenge with CMDBs is no matter how optimized they might be, they're typically manual uploads and Excel spreadsheets that are a part of that process, and that introduces complexity. So we have the ability to not just pull information from a CMDB and aggregate it and correlate it against everything else that we're seeing in an environment.
Right.
But we also have the ability to push information to the CMDB. So if we identify 1,200 assets that don't exist in that CMDB, we can alert your organization to that challenge, and you can go out and perform those manual processes to add those 1,200 assets, or we can automate the workflow and have those automatically added to the CMDB.
Now, you said the way you do it's unique. I get that part. But why hasn't this been solved yet? Is it a new idea people woke up to and said, hey, why don't we inventory everything? Is that a newer concept in IT?
It's
you think
not.
the IT guys will be doing it, though?
It's not, and that's why CMDBs actually exist, right?
Yeah.
But we've been in business for 6 years. We just celebrated our 6-year anniversary last week.
Okay.
And the sole basis for us being founded as an organization, and really for Gartner identifying a new focus area called Cyber Asset Attack Surface Management, is because people couldn't answer a very basic question. How many Windows assets do you have in your environment?
Yeah.
If they're talking to somebody from IT, or they're talking to somebody that's responsible for incident response, or they're talking to a server person, or somebody responsible for workstations, all the answers are different. The only challenge we've ever had to a tweet slide that we start all of our presentations with, which is how many assets do I have in my environment, is that the ranges aren't broad enough.
Oh, that's a challenge. Oh, my God. Unbelievable.
So we were designed from the ground up to just focus on this problem. And it's that aggregation and the correlation that is so impactful. We've grown in just the 2 years that I've been with Axonius, our adapter count, our ability to interface with other technologies, has grown from 356 technologies specifically to now over 700.
Oh my gosh.
All of that is based on prospect and client demand and interaction. And if there are technologies that we don't support today, we'll build them for you at no cost, because the more powerful and robust our ecosystem is, the more impactful we can be to all organizations.
Fantastic stuff, my friend. I remember back in the day asking people, Black Hat 9 years ago, what's the average number of security apps on somebody's server at a corporation? 125. I'm sure it's a lot more now.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to find out what that stuff's on there. Nice to meet you, my friend.
Nice to meet you, Gary.
Right.
Appreciate the time.
Give us the website one more time.
Axonius.com, AXONIUS.
Back in a minute here, RVAsec 2023. Richmond, Virginia, take us out.